Straight hair, the human insulator. Straight hair is not the original human template, it is a mutation, a cold weather survival upgrade triggered by a variant in the EDAR gene that reshaped the hair follicle into a perfect cylinder. That structural shift gave rise to the human insulator, a texture engineered less for beauty and more for battling freezing wind like your ancestors were living inside a portable icebox. This mutation spread quickly in northern regions because the people who had it stayed warmer, lived longer, and complained less about the weather. Because straight strands lie flat, they form a compact heat-trapping barrier over the scalp. Think of it as a biological winter hat that never falls off, never stretches out, never pills, and never mysteriously vanishes the second you need it. In cold, dry environments, this sleek insulating layer reduced heat loss and helped stabilize core temperature when the wind was aggressively auditioning for a disaster film. The cylindrical shape also lets sebum travel from root to tip without interruption. The famous shine is not a beauty flex, it is a uniform lipid shield. A glossy built-in conditioner that blocks dehydration, wind damage, and ultraviolet radiation. Straight hair self-conditions with ruthless, almost smug efficiency. Because nothing slows those oil molecules down, they treat the strands like a slip and slide. Populations where this mutation became common often developed thicker strands and more active sweat and oil glands. This combination strengthened warmth retention, scalp protection, and moisture balance. It also meant straight-haired ancestors could survive harsher winters with fewer resources, while everyone else was contemplating frostbite and re-evaluating their life choices. Your hair is straight because your ancestors needed forehead insulation more than personality. Coily hair, the heat shield. Coily hair did not evolve to be cute. It evolved because your ancestors lived somewhere the sun behaved like a clingy ex, refusing to give anyone personal space. Those tight spring-like coils lift the strands upward, creating an air pocket over the scalp. That little bubble is not decoration, it is free air conditioning. Your ancestors basically walked around with a tiny atmosphere perched on their heads, cooling them naturally while the sun tried its best to saute them. This zigzag pattern also slows moisture loss. Every bend is a speed trap for evaporation. Airflow hits a coil, gets confused, and gives up. But those same twists stop scalp oil from traveling far. The roots get all the sebum, the ends get abandonment issues. This is not dryness, this is your hair saying, hydration is for the people who earned it. Evolution gave the roots VIP treatment and told the ends to fend for themselves. The structure is ridiculously tough. Coily strands are elliptical and jam-packed with disulfide bonds, which makes each strand behave like a microscopic spring. They stretch, rebound, and survive harsh friction, like they are training for a scalp-based obstacle course. Early humans relied on this durability while brushing against plants, pushing through rugged terrain, dealing with heat, and navigating social situations where personal space was theoretical. Genetically, coily hair comes from dominant variants, such as KRT71 and the KAP gene family. These shape the follicle into a heat-fighting, UV-deflecting device that no silicone product could ever hope to recreate. It is nature's version of a cooling helmet, lightweight, protective, and impossible to misplace. Wavy hair, the temperate hybrid. Wavy hair sits in the evolutionary middle, like it could not decide between straight efficiency and curly chaos. Its S-shaped pattern comes from a slightly oval follicle that bends the strand just enough to create volume without committing to full spirals. This texture thrived in temperate climates where the weather was basically undecided all year long. Warm on Monday, freezing by Wednesday, raining on Thursday, confused on Friday. The waves create balance. They hold warmth when it is cool, but still allow airflow when it is warm. It is nature's version of a flexible thermostat. The type of feature you would absolutely have to pay extra for if climate control were a subscription service. Your ancestors got hair that adapted faster than most people adapt to new phone updates, which is saying a lot. Sebum travelled through wavy hair at medium speed. Not fast, like straight hair, not stuck, like coils, just politely moving through traffic. This creates partial shine at the top and a you-are-on-your-own energy at the ends. Humidity also loves wavy hair in a way that is frankly inappropriate. The texture gets bigger, bouncier, and more dramatic whenever the air gets emotional. Genetically, wavy hair is a mix of many small gene influences, including variants in TCH and FRA1. Instead of one big mutation, it is the product of genetic teamwork, the follicle equivalent of a group chat where everyone contributed just enough so nobody could get mad. Your hair is wavy because your ancestors lived in places where the climate was confused, and their hair decided to match the vibe. Curly hair, the elastic buffer. Curly hair forms when the follicle bends like it woke up in the middle of the night and changed its mind. That curve creates uneven keratin distribution, which forces each strand into a spiral. The result is elasticity that lets the hair stretch and snap back like a built-in shock absorber. Curly hair behaves like it has its own physics engine. This curl structure lifts the hair off the scalp just enough to improve airflow in warm, humid climates. It is natural ventilation with a side of drama. Your ancestors basically evolved a hairstyle that doubles as temperature control, cooling the scalp while adding enough volume to block a small doorway. The spirals also act like a sensory perimeter. They cushion the scalp from friction, brush past obstacles, and bounce back instead of breaking. It is nature's version of a spring-loaded warning system for the head. Early humans got extra protection without needing helmets, which did not exist yet because everyone was too busy running from predators and inventing fire. Genetically, curly hair comes from several variants, including changes in TCH, WNT10A, and FGR2. These shape the follicle into a curve that produces consistent spirals adjusted for humidity, heat, and environmental chaos. Thick hair, the biological armor. Thick hair strands are built like structural support beams. Each strand has a larger diameter and more keratin layers, which makes them stronger, heavier, and far more stubborn than any comb invented by humans. This density provides natural protection against wind, ultraviolet radiation, and anything else the environment tries to throw at your head. Thick hair does not ask permission to exist, it simply does. Because thick strands hold heat well, they acted like insulation in cooler or high-friction environments. Your ancestors basically evolved a helmet made out of themselves. It was free, effective, and did not require a return policy. Thick hair shrugged off cold weather, harsh winds, and anything else nature felt inspired to attempt. These strands also retain moisture better. They do not dry out quickly and are less likely to snap under pressure. Thick hair simply refuses to mind its business. It stays put, stays strong, and stays hydrated, whether you asked it to or not. Genetically, thicker strands are linked to variants in the EDAR gene, the same mutation involved in straight hair. It influences follicle shape, strand diameter, and even sweat gland activity, all contributing to physical resilience. Thick hair evolved not for aesthetics, but for durability. Fine hair, the cooling system. Fine hair strands have a smaller diameter and fewer keratin layers, which makes them light, flexible, and dramatically unbothered by gravity. This low-density structure allows heat to escape quickly from the scalp, turning the head into a natural cooling vent. Your ancestors basically evolved temperature control that ran on zero energy and 100% airflow. Because the strands are thin, they dry fast, move easily, and weigh almost nothing. That was a major advantage in warm or temperate climates where staying cool mattered more than being insulated. Fine hair keeps things breezy, whether you asked for breeze or not. The trade-off is strength. Fine strands can break more easily and offer little protection from ultraviolet radiation or friction, but in hot environments, fragility mattered less than overheating, and fine hair delivered exactly what was needed. Your ancestors survived because their hair let heat escape before it could cook their skull. Genetically, fine hair comes from several variants that influence follicle size and keratin density. It is a design optimized for comfort, not combat, the hair equivalent of choosing light gear over heavy armor, because speed mattered more than durability. Coarse hair, the structural reinforcer. Coarse hair strands are like reinforced cables, thick, heavy, and engineered to survive whatever nature felt like throwing at your ancestors. Each coarse strand has more keratin layers and a denser cuticle, creating a texture that resists breakage, friction, and environmental damage with casual disrespect for physics. This thickness helped early humans navigate harsh terrain, abrasive plants, and frequent physical stress. Coarse hair acted like natural padding, absorbing impact and shielding the scalp. It was evolutionary overkill in the best possible way, protection that did not quit, fray, or file complaints. But that durability comes with a trade-off. Those densely packed cuticle layers make moisture hard to absorb. Water bounces off coarse hair the way excuses bounce off responsibility. Hydration takes forever, drying takes even longer, and styling? You are negotiating, not shaping. Genetically, coarse strands come from variants that increase keratin production and follicle diameter. The result is hair with stamina, stubbornness, and survival instincts. Your hair is coarse because your ancestors needed a biological buffer, something strong enough to withstand scratches, sun, friction, and the general chaos of being alive before modern clothing existed. Baldness, strategically aerodynamic. Baldness is not a failure, it is the streamlined upgrade, the scalp deciding it is done with aerodynamics on hard mode. Baldness occurs when hair follicles become sensitive to DHT, dihydrotestosterone, a spicy little testosterone byproduct with strong opinions about your hairline. DHT shortens the anagen phase, the active growth phase of hair. That means strands grow for less time, get thinner, shrink, and eventually retire early like they won the lottery. And yes, too much testosterone can can literally make your hair quit. Evolution looked at high testosterone individuals and said, you can have strength, confidence, muscle, and drive, but you cannot have all that and a full hairline. Choose. The old myth about your mum's side causing baldness? Cute, but incorrect. Both sides of your family contribute to the genetic cocktail that decides if your follicles are built for longevity or early retirement, but the perks are real. Bald scalps release heat faster, resist lice, and signal maturity or dominance in almost every mammal that loses hair with age. And the maintenance is unbeatable. No tangles, no split ends, no expensive products, and no such thing as a bad hair day. Any complaints about your hair type? File them below. Evolution has no customer service department, but it does enjoy collecting complaints it has no intention of fixing. And if you want more biologically accurate sarcasm, subscribe. It is cheaper than conditioner and twice as effective.